Imagine warm, gooey cookies just out of the oven, or a creamy ice cream being handed by a lovely confectioner. Is your mouth watering? Do you feel that sudden craving? The little tingling on your tongue? What happens inside our brain that makes sugary foods so difficult to resist? Sugar is a class of molecules called carbohydrates. It's found in countless of the food we eat on a daily basis. Glucose, fructose, starch, honey, corn syrup, lactose are all forms of sugar. And these forms can be seen in tomato sauces, protein bars, yogurts, and dried fruits, so many more. Sugar is found everywhere, and it's vital to grasp its impact within our brain. So, let's picture this. You take a bite out of a carrot cake, activating sweet taste receptors on the front of your tongue. These signals travels to the brain, setting off a reward system in a complex network. It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling saying, yes, more, please, I want more of that. This reward system isn't just food driven. It's activated by various experiences such as socializing, sex, and drugs. And overstimulating it can lead to a loss of control, cravings, and increased sugar tolerance. Now, back to the bite of carrot cake you just had. It heads into your stomach and gut where sugar receptors signal fullness and insulin production. Insulin is a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, and its production increases in response to the incoming sugar from the cake. However, there's a twist when it comes to sugar and hormones. Sugar consumption can interfere with the hormone called leptin. Leptin is responsible for signaling to your brain that you are full and should stop eating. It also indicates that your body has sufficient energy and encourages the utilization of that energy for various bodily functions such as, let's say, exercise. Unfortunately, sugar can block the normal functioning of leptin, and when you consume sugar, it disrupts the signaling of leptin, making it less effective in reaching your brain and conveying the message of fullness. This interference can lead to overeating because your brain doesn't receive the proper signals to stop consuming food. This is why sugar is sometimes called empty calories. Furthermore, sugar has another impact related to insulin. It causes a rapid spike in insulin levels in your body. This surge in insulin makes it difficult for your body to access and utilize the stored fat for energy. Essentially, when sugar raises insulin levels, your body tends to prioritize the use of sugar for energy rather than tapping it into its fat stores. Dopamine, a key neurotransmitter, plays a starring role in the brain's reward system. Sugar, though less intense than drugs, releases dopamine, making sugary foods enticing. But here's the twist. Your brain craves a variety to maximize its chances to get nutrients and to avoid spoiled food. It pays special attention to new tastes, making old favorites less exciting over time. That's why dopamine levels off when a food becomes routine. So when you opt for a sugar-rich food over a balanced meal, too much sugar keeps the reward system continuously buzzing. So when you continuously eat this carrot cake, it's going to tell your brain, keep it going. Sugar acts a bit like a drug in this case, making it easy to get hooked on sweet treats. While overdosing on sugar isn't ideal, an occasional indulgence is fine. So we have to remember it's all about balance. And now let's discuss about how the sugar affects our whole body. So carbohydrates include things like sugar, starches, and fibers. And the ratio of sugar and fiber subgroups affect how our body and brain responds. So high glycemic foods such as white bread and white rice causes a rapid release of glucose to our blood, but soon after, our blood sugar shoots down, decreasing our attention span and mood. Whereas if we ingested whole grains such as oats, grains, and legumes, they have a slower glucose release, which enables for a steadier level of attentiveness. So just from these two facts alone, we see that the food that we ingest affects our body and brain respond how it responds. So to describe this in depth, let's talk about the contrast between how sugar and starches work within our body, how the absorption works. So sugar and starches are broken down into our body as energy sources. I believe we eat around 1/3 of our diet comes from starches, and these include potatoes, bread, rice, and such on. So what's the difference? Sugars refer to simple carbohydrates, which are simpler carbohydrate molecules that include monosaccharides and disaccharides. Saccharides mean sugar. Examples of this is lactose, which is a disaccharide, and it's found in milk products such as milk and yogurt and even ice cream. Sucrose is the disaccharide making up the table sugar. And sucrose is just glucose and fructose combined. So starches are complex carbohydrates, which are polysaccharides, which is different because sugars include monosaccharides and disaccharides, whereas starches are polysaccharides. And polysaccharides, the word poly means many. So poly, many, and then saccharide, which is sugar. So many sugars. And these are multiple glucose bonded together, hence the name, polysaccharide. The difference between the two is the size of the molecules. And this affects the absorption within our body. Once we place sugar and starches into our oral cavity, digestion begins. And during this process, compounds are broken down to monosaccharides such as glucose and fructose. As glucose and fructose moves down our small intestine, it is absorbed into the bloodstream. And once it's into our bloodstream, it goes up to the liver. The fructose is converted into glucose, which is the primary monosaccharide circulating all over our body. And this is the interesting part, which is the absorption rate of the sugar versus starch. Sugars are relatively small carbohydrate molecules, which are disaccharides, especially when we compare to complex carbohydrate polysaccharides. Due to this difference, the sugars tend to be broken and absorbed quickly. Blood sugar levels rise quickly but tapers off very slowly. Complex carbohydrates have slower digestion, which means that blood sugar levels rise much slower and sustained for a longer period of time. So I hope this kind of connects the two pieces, what we talked about a little bit earlier about eating high glycemic food, which increases our blood sugar super quickly because, disaccharides are easy to digest, boosting our blood sugars, but it tapers off very slowly, which is not that good because then it's going to affect our mood and also our attentiveness. So although at times you might need a glucose sugar level when you need a marathon, but usually it's much better to have a more well-balanced diet, such as eating whole grains instead of just pure sugar. Because, in fact, if you ingest lots of sugars, it could lead to diseases such as heart disease and type 2 diabetes. And heart disease is the main factor. It's the number one leading factor of death within United States. Another thing to note is that glucose molecule within table sugar is the exact same form as glucose molecule in fruits or whole grain food. Your body doesn't differentiate the sources. The difference between eating sugar and whole food sources is that sugar is, again, empty calories. There's no nutritional benefits, whereas whole food sources provides vitamins, fiber, and other nutrients which is essential for our health. So this is why we can eat sugary food without feeling full. The extra sugar you digest in soda does not make you full, yet increase the carbs and calories that you ingest. And we also discussed why we don't feel full because of the hormone called leptin. Sugar necessarily isn't evil, But the ease of how much we can get into our diet is, pretty evil in my opinion, because according to a study, over 60% of the foods and beverages purchased in American grocery stores contained added sugar. And this is from an article in The Upshot from the New York Times. So if grocery stores offer over 60% of their food that they offer has included sugars, what can we do? As conscious consumers, we can make a conscious decision of picking the right food to eat. For example, instead of eating an apple pie, I might just choose just eating the whole apple instead, because an apple pie has included sugars that I might not really want, and I'm not extracting all of the good value. For example, apple in itself, it has antioxidants, it has fiber, and it also has vitamin C. I mean, apple pie does too, now that I'm thinking about it, but hopefully you get my point that it's better to eat the food source in itself, the ingredients, more than when it has included in refined sugars, which is not too optimal for our health. This has just came out of a refrigerator. I've been biting on it, and man, it's so scrumptious. It's the juices, you could really feel it. So I hope you get some fruits. Obviously, you can't. I don't think you overdose on natural sugars, but do your own research on that. So what I want to talk about next is what happens to the glucose within our body. So far, we've discussed how sugars includes monosaccharides and disaccharides, which is really easy to digest. Therefore, your blood glucose levels go super high, but it also it crashes, which translates into, again, like loss in attentiveness, and also it affects our mood. Whereas eating, whole grains, such as oatmeal, it's more balanced because it's made out of, again, like polysaccharides, and polysaccharides are kind of harder to break down. So what happens within the liver? Liver is the thing that, holds our glucose up to 100 grams, but in the form of glycogen. And what happens to the remaining glucose? Well, it's spread all over our body. Another cool fact is our skeletal muscle tissue is able to hold up to 400 grams to 500 grams of glycogen. And so what happens if both the liver is maxed out as well as our skeletal muscle tissue is maxed out? Well, then, this is where we get into the issue, because it turns into fat. And it's stored within adipose tissue, which is related, increased adipose tissue is related with diseases such as heart disease and as well as diabetes, which is not optimal for us. So what's the best solution to mitigate this? Well, one of the cool things about exercising is that your skeletal muscle tissue, it increases and it's able to absorb more glycogen, up to 20 to 30% more compared to a person who doesn't exercise. Another thing to note is to kind of stay off from eating sugar. But of course, this could be hard for some people, especially if they've been, on that hamster wheel of eating and increasing their sugar tolerance. So I would probably do more research on, trying to tackle and step a little bit lower. But, the first best thing is maybe substituting, for example, if you're eating too many Diet Cokes into a fruit smoothie, and then from a fruit smoothie, hopefully down to just eating apple sources, because fruit smoothies, it still has, sugars. That's not optimal if you're trying to lose weight, but it will be more optimal compared to eating like a soda, for example, that has high fructose corn syrup. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. The analogy of this is that whenever we're thinking about our body, we have to think about our body as kind of an airplane, right? We're usually a passenger observing what's happening, We're inside the flight. We know where we're going, the destination, and we're just always, maybe there's some turbulences that we feel within the flight that's analogous to our body kind of like giving us signs. But we don't really go inside the cockpit of the airplane, meaning we don't really know what's going on, all the signals, all the signs, but we should probably take a look at it so that we better understand our body and therefore we make better decisions. Now, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. So I'm not saying don't eat sugar at all, but just be aware of kind of like these mechanisms and the impulses, the dopamine reward system, so that you recognize what's happening whenever you feel the kind of like the urges, let's say, to, as long as it you occur what's happening, then I think it will be better in terms of decision making. So yeah. And here are some clips that I'm gonna throw out next of my 30-day sugar challenge. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys soon. Hello, it's currently day 2 of the no sugar challenge, and right now in my hand I have my lunch. So it's pita bread that's wrapping all of this deliciousness. So it's raw ingredients. The only sauce in here is mayo, and I believe mayo has almost no sugar. So there's carrots, there's some cheese, some lettuce, sprouts, broccoli, carrots, tomato, white chicken, and it seems like there's green paprika. I think that's how you say it. And before I got this, I went grocery shopping. So I got steak, some salmon, some salad, and eggs. I feel like I'm missing, and strawberries as well. So that's what I'm gonna be eating throughout this week. A hard challenge for me would be what I eat in work. So currently I'm working over the summer full time, and sometimes like once per month we have like a company kind of outing, meaning like we go to a nice restaurant and the food there is just absolute delicacy. It's just chef's kiss. I have to really make sure I only eat salad. So that's gonna be a hard challenge. And also during lunch, because like within the corporate buildings right below, there's like really cool gourmet made food. For example, this place called Mendocino, The Stand. They have delicious burgers, but I can't eat any of that. So I'll most likely have salad, and yeah, that's my plan. Also, another thing to recognize is like I believe banana and a lot of fruits have sugar in it. So I'm only going to be counting like added sugars such as like brown sugar or included sugars. I want to avoid it as much as possible. And for example, this this wrap came with a Italian dressing, but I can't eat this because I'm pretty sure it has sugar. So just eating this, it feels good. My body definitely does feel, a lot better when in hindsight and aftermath. But I just have a strong urge to always eat some maybe snacks that have some sugars, such as ice cream or chips. So I really have to hesitate and overcome that. So we'll see how it goes. But you'll see me eating this quite often throughout the channel. Hey, it's currently day 3, and I'm making my first meal of the day. I'm supposed to be eating for breakfast an oatmeal filled with some cinnamon, some peanut butter, as well as some blueberries, but I ran out of some old rolled oats, so instead I'm going to be making some fried rice. So I have rice filled with grains, and I also have made some ground beef from about a week ago. So I'm gonna be cooking that up, and that's gonna be my first meal of the day. All right, so it's currently around 4 p.m. and I'm gonna be having my second meal of the day. I'm gonna be having the same thing as yesterday. So it's the pita bread. So we're gonna be riding skateboard. Let's head over there. All right, so we're almost there. This is one of my pastimes. The weather is super nice because it's June, and I usually use this board only to get the food. I was planning on using it for transportation at school because the campus is pretty big, but mainly I've been using it to get our delicious wrap that I showed you from yesterday. But let me show you where it is. Alright, hop off. So that's the place. It's called California Chicken Cafe. It's a franchise, I think, that was started in maybe the late 1900s, like 1990 90s, 1980s, and it's super, super delicious because it's just raw ingredients and they just got it down perfectly. That's one cool thing about Los Angeles is that there's a lot of food places everywhere. But yeah, let's eat. Got my Crocs on. Whoop whoop. All right, so we secured the food, and there was a pothole. One thing that's super cool about this restaurant is they really care about their customers. So, one second. I'm in a little tight zone. There was a car behind me. So, you know what they gave me as a bonus, as a loyal customer? They gave me a chicken bite. So, I'm excited to munch on that. And they usually give this out maybe, I would say, once a month or so. But it's always a joy. Hello. Alright. Always gotta be careful. And I definitely don't recommend, utilizing these electric vehicles if you don't have proper protection, because I've heard horror stories of people being hit by cars and just not being careful. But yeah, I'm gonna be eating the second meal of the day, so that's good. Hello everyone, I'm currently in this place called Playa Vista. It's a wonderful city, or maybe it's a borough. I'm not sure what it's called because it's still a part of Los Angeles, but the weather is just phenomenal here. It's currently around 11:10 a.m. and I was supposed to go rock climbing with one of my work colleagues, but because it's the 4th, which is Independence Day, happy 4th to everyone who celebrates it, it's closed. So instead, I got a chance to walk around. There's a lot of big companies here. So think about your Googles, think about Netflix, I think YouTube, not Netflix, it was YouTube, and Tencent, which is a massive gaming media company. And there's a lot of really wealthy people around here. I saw everyone just walking out their dogs in dog parks. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. But yeah, I had some breakfast. Here's the photo, if I didn't already pull it up. And now I'm going to eat my last meal of the day, which is going to be some chicken. There's this place called Zanko Chicken, and it's kind of like Middle Eastern, Mediterranean and Middle Eastern food. So yeah, I'll be going to go grab a quick bite, and that's gonna be my no sugar for today. All right, so we're at the Zanko Chicken. I just got the tri-tip shawarma. It costed 18 bucks and 60 cents, which is extremely high. My food budget is around $10 per meal, but no sugar whatsoever. Just fresh, raw hummus, some greens, and this is gonna be my last meal. But also, I went grocery shopping the other day, so on the next couple of days, I'm gonna be eating some salad and salmon and some beef at home. But yeah, take some water. Overall, I feel super healthy, and my body definitely feels more energized. So that's a good thing. And the weather, phenomenal.
Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, so the food has arrived. Right now this is the pita bread. I feel like I'm in a different era because I haven't had this dish before and I get to use my hands, which is kind of uncommon. But right now, they came up with fresh meat and then some hummus with a drizzle of olive oil. And then I think it came also with some pickled radish, which is this pink thing right here. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna be making a little wrap out of this. And the reason why I'm trying out this challenge is because I wanna see how my body reacts without putting too much included sugars. So of course there's gonna be healthy sugars that our body uses for energy. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like the added preservatives in, for example, deli meat or in bread or even drinks. You know, there's so much sugar that's associated with cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases, and I just want to see how my body, you know, reacts. And so far, you know, there's plenty of studies of how eating healthier is related with living a longer life. I really like the Mediterranean diet, and yeah, I'm just excited to go on this journey. So, with that stated, let's take our first bite. I think this is a good amount of food. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty good. Wow. The bread is super soft. It's not as tough as I thought. And the hummus, it makes it more creamy. The meat is very brittle, like, I don't know what the right adjective to describe the softness of this meat is. And then also the lettuce, it just makes it feel super fresh. I'm gonna be including more meat this time, more salad, and then more hummus. Let's enjoy. Hello, it's currently July 5th and I'm having my first meal of the day. I got some oats and we also got some frozen blueberries, some peanut butter, and some cinnamon powder. The blueberries, because it's delicious, it's filled with antioxidants, which is healthy for the body. And frozen berries are really affordable. Another thing that I like about peanut butter is it just makes it super delicious when you kind of mix it around. And for the liquid, I'm utilizing almond milk. Almond milk with no sugar added. But yeah, this is gonna be my first meal of the day. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get started. Alright, so it's lunchtime. 1:21 p.m. and I got some salad. Mendocino Farms. It's gonna be delicious. Hello, it's currently around 8:30. I know I should be getting some rest, but I went climbing and I'm really hungry. So I got some Panda Express. And one thing I'm not really too pleased about is the servings, because it's really small compared to what I usually get before. But I got some teriyaki chicken as well as some broccoli. And before, I asked them if they added any included sugars, but no, all of them are natural. The only thing where it has included sugars are probably, you know, this Mandarin teriyaki sauce, this fortune cookie. So I'm not gonna be eating that. I'm just gonna be eating the greens as well as the protein. Hey, it's currently July 11th and I made a sin because I had this Hawaiian barbecue pizza without knowing it. No wonder it tasted so good. But I believe barbecue has sugar in it, so not good. Instead, I'm gonna now eat these pizza. Hello, it's currently July 11th. It's lunchtime, and I'm having some Chipotle, double chicken, and some avocado. It's delicious. Hey, it's currently day 12, and let me walk you through what I ate today. So for breakfast, I had oatmeal. For lunch, I had Chipotle, and then for dinner, I had a flatbread. So it's kind of like a pizza, but without the size, without any sugar. And I've also had 2 bags of chips, just plain old, just potato. I mean, it's probably not the best, but it was, at the workplace, they have so much goodies, and that was the only thing that I could kind of eat as a snack, rather than nuts. Nuts as well. Nuts are pretty good. But I was also going through some of the responses. I'm really glad there's a lot of participation, and it makes me feel so a part of your lives whenever I see these posts, whenever I see pictures, whenever I see these insights. So I really, really appreciate you guys for kind of typing in every single day, because it really, really matters. So let me just show you what Nat has been cooking up. Day's been difficult, but keeping busy doing things always helps. I went to the beach today and I was craving an ice cream, but I've been a good girl, and instead I had an iced tea and a salad. Look at that. Here's a picture of the beach with a nice seagull. And then look at this. My gosh. Mwah. That looks delicious. Paella for lunch, some seafood for dinner, and pears for snacks. Actually, fun story. I went to Vegas before going over to the Grand Canyon last year, I believe. And I had my aunt found this paella spot. I forgot what it's called. I really want to tell you guys, but the name escapes me. But that was the first time I had paella, and I would definitely put that in the top 5 food I've ever tasted. They put some like lemon squeeze, like lemon for like the ending, kind of like lemon drizzle, and I could still I'm like drooling just thinking about it. But we had seafood paella, and we also had chicken paella, and it was really, really delicious. And for those who don't know, paella is just like, think of it as fried rice, yeah, with like delicious tomato sauce. I don't know how they do it, really. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, yeah, it looks something like this. And look at how big the pan is, like it's the circumference of it, it's just the diameter, it's super, super huge. And this is a orange, it seems like, or maybe a lemon. I think it's an orange, but there's some oyster in it, really good protein, or mussels, I don't know, I think it's oysters. And then some shrimp, really rich in protein. Ate soup and salmon for lunch and dinner, and omelet and a fruit. Really, really good diet. I really like this. And then we can look at on the other hand, with these day 1 and 2 failed. I'll try slowly. Yep, this challenge is impossible. Let's forget it. Don't be like with these. You gotta continue on. Who else we got? We got Critty showing up every single day, recording. Paper. And then we also got S-Rays as well. S-Rays. I need to react to all of these. Success, day 6 success. I finished with an ice sugar free latte. Success, I drank some Sprite without knowing it was in the cup. Then I saw that it was 0 sugar. Yeah, the problem with this is like there's so many drinks with sugar. And another thing I didn't know about was at work we have a lot of cold beverages. So for example, there's the I actually brought a couple. So I'm gonna show you 1 second. So there's a lot of like these LaCroix that I've been drinking, and it's like sparkling water. This is coconut, and thankfully this one doesn't have any caffeine, but there was a lot of beverages that surprisingly has lots of caffeine. For example, Celsius has caffeine. What else? And there were some other ones. And I have to be careful to make sure that those cold beverages don't have any sugar in it. But yeah, there's a lot of like Pepsi, a lot of Coca-Cola, things of that nature. Let's get back to it. So If you have a bad job interview full of irrelevant questions, you've been offered low pay for 12-hour shifts over 5 days and no specific job description, put up on a random skirt and go out with your friends, laugh at your funny faces as you try an ice Americano for the first time. Wow, no more self-blame and depressive thoughts. I'll keep applying to new places and expand my skill set for better opportunities. Also, I should stop writing these stuff here. I think keeping a journal would be better. No, Estra, this is really important because I get a better sense of hearing your thoughts, hearing your internal dialogue within your daily kind of journey, your own journey. And this, yeah, like this will happen quite often within like a capitalistic society. That was one of the things that our junior person stated. Even when you do get a job, that you really need to care about yourself, put yourself first, and be selfish, because you know the company's goal is to maximize profits. And even though there's paid time off, you know, like a lot of the, especially Americans, they don't take it. There's a really strong work culture here, and I've been really recognizing that. It's kind of a beauty that you're able to see such ambitious people, but you also have to recognize like there needs to be some sort of, you know, balance and, you know, so that you could re-energize, refuel yourself. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear like you're not finding the right opportunities. As long as you're continuing to search, building that career capital, I'm sure, you know, the market is going to compensate you very fairly. It's just, yeah, I mean, I don't know how your environment is, and I think I'm definitely more biased, like, because I'm living in like a place where, you know, there's quite a lot of opportunities relatively, I feel like. So feel free to continue on, and if you have kind of, if I could give my 2 cents, I would just state that continue on building skill sets and continuing on interviewing. And even if like the pay is not good, you could leverage that experience to get better and better opportunities. That's another pro tip. Let's see. I think next few days will be hard and I might skip the challenge, otherwise my grandma will ask me if I don't like her food. Oh no. Yeah, that's a tough one. Man, this reminded me of like there were some people like from New York or the Boston office, I forgot which one, and they came to the LA office, and there was this woman who was offering me sidecar donuts, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm good. I mean, it's not the same because it's not the intimacy levels are different, but it's just like I have to deny things, you know, out of like their favor. Day 11 failed. I had a homemade pumpkin jam and Osmania Kombesi. I don't know what this is. I guess writing here has become my habit. I was about to write a lot of my personal finance emergency fund for family. I reminded myself this is not your journal and you're not a blogger anyway. That's right, you are really good at writing. I could guarantee you that. And much better at English than you kind of give yourself credit for. But yeah, Esra has, Esra's had the biggest challenge was probably like not only family reasons, but also external things such as the earthquake, which is really heartbreaking. But hopefully I hope things get better, Esra. And I understand kind of like your urgency to kind of trying to get a job to provide for the family. And then Esra says, day 12 check. Today I appreciated that in the past, curiosity and efforts helped me to learn how to cook favorite foods for my loved ones. Even though it doesn't taste the same, what a beautiful skill to carry with me. So proud of younger Esra. Oh, that's amazing. Glad to hear that. And we also got Kira's beautiful kind of art pieces right here. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. Yeah, but that's all of the kind of highlights that I found. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in. Good morning. It's currently July 17th, and I'm having some oatmeal, blueberries, we got cinnamon powder, and then some peanut butter. And then we also got some tater tots and some tenders, and both of them have no sugar, which is amazing for breakfast. Looking back at the clips, I did eat a lot more outside rather than at home. This was food I had at work. This was food I had at Sprouts, the farmer market. This is the classic wrap that I had. This is some In-N-Out burger. This one violated because it had sugar in terms of the sauce. This was food at work. This was some Japanese food that didn't have any included sugar. This was food at work. This is beef stroganoff. Next is the classic wrap that I ate quite a lot throughout this whole challenge.
We're just gonna let it simmer.
And then I made some beef wrap.
Alright,
That's some
so
salad
it's the same
and
day.
some fried rice.
As I have the pita bread right now, I'm gonna have a multigrain veggie sandwich. I asked if they have any sugar in it, any included sugar, but they said all of this is natural. So as you can see, there's 5 grams of sugar, but they told me it's not included. And when looking at the ingredients, it didn't seem like, oh, there is sugar. I was deceived. Look at this. Do you see it right next to seeds? I also got some coconut water to drink, but dang it. I spent so much time trying to make sure the sandwiches I was choosing didn't have sugar. That's why I didn't put any meat. But yeah, I guess you can never know with preservatives and these type of pre-made foods. Oh well. I guess today I'll fail, unfortunately, but
As we conclude
It is what
this
it is.
video and challenge, the biggest lesson for me was the best, surest way to not eat as much included sugar is to cook for yourself. As I review various of clips of me eating different food, I recognize that I've not done the best job at not eating included sugars. For example, I've had countless of pizza outside, thinking that it didn't have any included sugar, because when I chose my recipes, I was choosing spinach, like chicken, olives, all of these, but the bread, for example, or the tomato sauce has some included sugars, which I wasn't aware of. Even this chicken that I'm biting into, the worker said it didn't have any sugar, but looking at the label, it did. So nonetheless, I really enjoyed this challenge, and overall I did feel really happy, and I was happy for the fact that I was being conscious of what I was putting inside my body each and every day, and that extra split decision made the whole difference. So hope you guys enjoyed. Cheers if you made it to the end. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
hello. It's smelling the sandwich.